Take leave to ask the question standing in my name on the order paper.
My Lords, Westminster City Council is responsible for the pavements under its control, and the Metropolitan Police is responsible for policing crime and managing protest in the designated area round Parliament. Now, the government shares the public concern about the current state of Parliament Square and is working with all the relevant agencies to protect this place of national importance, and the government does intend to introduce legislation shortly.
My Lords, I'm terribly sorry, but I really hardly heard one single word the Minister said. So this is guesswork, and I apologise. But would she not agree that this is not a demonstration, it's a squat? Furthermore, would the Minister agree that this beautiful square is now a mess? And why can't this government get together with whatever authority is liable and do better than the last government after all this time to put this matter right?
I think the government shares the noble lady's sentiment, and all my friend's sentiment, and that of the House. Let me just say what the government has been trying to do. My honourable friend, the Minister for Crime Prevention in the other House, has been working with the GLA, with Westminster Council, and with the police, and we have, of course, several authorities involved in Parliament Square, first of all, to bring about the situation we have now. As we know, the squatters have been evicted, and the grass is being reseeded, and the pavements repaired. So we are dealing with the mess. The problem, my Lords, is that the existing demonstration that continues is based on the existing law, which allows one person to attach 20 others to the application for demonstration. And that law, which was passed in 2005, has been abused in a way that Parliament most certainly didn't intend. And that is why we do believe that it's necessary to bring forward legislative proposals, which we intend to do in a first session bill, actually to clarify this situation, but also to restore the balance between the right to protest on the one hand and public enjoyment of an amenity like Parliament Square.
My Lords, the Minister referred to working with several authorities. Could she actually explain who owns Parliament Square, the middle of it?
The problem, my Lords, I think as many noble Lords may know, is that no single authority owns Parliament Square. The Westminster Council has responsibility for the pavements on the southern and the western side of the square, the GLA for the pavements on the northern and eastern side of the square, and the GLA for the grass. This does mean that we have to have partnership between these various agencies, and the government has been involved in fostering that in order to bring about improvement in the square.
Would the noble lady, the Minister, agree that the most effective agency to remove these people in Parliament Square would be the noble Baroness Lady Trumpington?
But I think, my Lords, I think... My Lords, I think that Lady Trumpington is very helpful in asking this question.
Surely, my Lords, it's not necessary to spread litter around the place in order to exercise the right of protest. Yeah. And surely a citizen to go along and remove all this unsightly litter and the tents without offending against any law whatsoever, and I simply cannot understand why some of us are not enlisted to do precisely that.
Well, Lords, I think there are many public services that we could all perform in this area. What we're trying to do, and I do think that the noble Lords and this House, are quite right to be concerned with the encampment, which is really at the root of our problems. And what we will try and do in this legislation that will be coming forward, and it will be very important in that legislation for Parliament to express its will clearly as to what it sees as being the rightful use of Parliament Square, is indeed, as I say, to while safeguarding the legitimate right to protest, actually to make it clear that encampment and other abuses of an amenity are not permissible.
Could I ask the noble Baroness whether she's aware
the Minister could consider in the legislation that's coming reducing the number of local authorities which actually run Parliament Square?
I think the noble lady puts her finger on a real issue. I think in the short term that is not very easy to do, but certainly over the longer term it is one of the things that I think might be looked at.
My Lords, could I ask the noble Baroness, I speak as a member of the Joint Committee on Security, which has been looking at this for years and got nowhere, but we were told at our last meeting something quite extraordinary, that what surrounds the square, which may look like a pavement, and if you fell on it would feel like a pavement, the High Court has announced, since it doesn't go anywhere, is not a pavement, and therefore no one, which shows the idiocy of judges, I must say, my Lord. But that is one of the things that actually prevents anybody, including the Met themselves, doing anything about these squatters.
This I think is getting into territory on which I tread with some trepidation. I think the noble lord's referring to the terms of the judgment, which said that given the circumstances of the pavement in front of carriage gates, where indeed I think it was judged that the pavement quotes did not lead anywhere, that it was permissible for the two protesters and those who were attached to them to continue their protest there.
My Lords, will the noble lady accept that while there are many, and I share this view, who see the value of Parliament Square as an open space which supports a site which is of World Heritage importance, would you also accept that it is entirely natural and proper to allow protest in the vicinity of Parliament?
The government does accept my noble friend's contention that it is right and proper for people to be able to protest peacefully within Parliament Square or its environs. What the legislation will seek to do is to restore the right also of the general public to enjoy the amenity of the square.